Hi, I'm Crystal, and this is my first YouTube post. For the first time in my life, I'm the head of household. I'm not living with my parents, or roommates, or a boyfriend, or a husband. I'm the grown-up in charge here. I do what I want. I have 2 teenagers, and this is a rental, so I'm not completely free to go wild. But I also plan to be here for a while. I've spent too much of my life waiting for something to start, waiting until everything was just right to start. I don't care that it is a rental. I have permission to garden, and it's mine, and I'm going to do stuff to make every day that I live here the best day that it can be. I'm not going to put off living my life just because I don't own it, just because I don't even know what. But I'm not going to put things off just because. The great thing about being the grown-up in charge is that I'm not really answering to anybody. I don't have to sit down and discuss it with the roommates. I don't have to sit down and discuss it with a boyfriend or a husband or anybody else. On the other hand, it's a little lonely because there's nobody to play show and tell with at the end of the day. So I'm going to put this out there on YouTube and share it with all of you. I'm an ex-housewife who finally gets to make a home. Let me show you some of the things I've done. I'm starting with just trying to reduce my waste. So, dishes drip. Water. Plants need water. I've set up a dish rack over a paint tray so that the water drips down to terracotta pots that then soak the water up to the plants. And I've been using the basil in cooking, and then the other plant is aloe vera because I found out that I'm not getting enough dishwater to keep cilantro alive. I tried. So there's this, and then I've got my grandmother's greywater system, which is very simple but not at all photogenic, which is just that I keep a dishpan in the sink that I then empty into a plant whenever it's full. The other thing that I was trying to solve is that the kitchen keeps creating compost, and I don't really know where I want to garden, so I've decided to just work with this little strip in front of the house because it's a small, easily managed space. And I went out to the hardware store just planning to get the stuff I needed to start a really small, simple compost system. I should not be allowed in hardware stores unsupervised, especially not in June when gardenias are blooming and smelling like all the summers I spent in Chico in Northern California as a teenager. I couldn't resist the gardenia plant, and I took it home with me, even though I've promised myself I'm not going to plant anything until I've spent some time settling in. I've had the keys since June 1st, and I brought home my first living thing today. I also brought home the stuff that I needed for a worm tube for composting. It's a very simple system. You put the tube in the ground, drill holes in it so the worms can get in and out. They'll go in and eat the compost, but then they'll go out and leave their worm casings in your soil. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's covered so it doesn't attract undesirable insects. It doesn't give off any smells. And I'm probably just going to keep moving the same tube like every other weekend until I come up with a more permanent compost solution. There's already a lot of river rock on the property, so I'm using that as a mulch. Rock mulch works really well in the desert. It doesn't have the problems of conventional mulch in an unconventional environment, but it does help to retain moisture, which I want to keep around the gardenias that I was a fool to buy, and also around my compost because I want the worms to have a hospitable environment. They're my workforce. So that's what I did with my day. Thank you for letting me play show and tell. I'm excited about having this house. I'm excited about making a home. I'm excited about getting to have adventures. And I know that these ones are pretty domestic, but I hope they won't all be. And I hope that you enjoyed sharing my journey with me. I'm on an adventure. Thank you.